This video is about the English 3 Unit 1 project. As always, make sure you read the directions carefully. All of the requirements are thoroughly explained here. Take a look at the project rubrics as well to have a further understanding of how your work will be graded. This project is a two-part assignment. Part 1 is your stylistic analysis. This is taken right from the directions. You will select just one poet. I encourage you to pick someone that you enjoy, a poet that you've read before, someone we've read in this class. You can also select a musician if you like, as long as they use poetic devices, because obviously you need to meet all of the requirements for this assignment. So pick someone that you have an interest in. It'll make the assignment more enjoyable. I won't read over all of this because this is right from the directions, but follow the outline. Students sometimes just kind of go and write on their own pace or however they think is best, but there is an outline provided for you. An outline is actually part of the writing process, and this is basically just done for you. So if you follow this, you'll make sure you don't miss out on anything and you'll get maximum points. So take a look when you're following your directions and you're doing your pre-writing. It tells you exactly what goes in what order, and this is right from the project directions as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about the analysis. The main purpose of this paper is for you to demonstrate an understanding of poetic devices. You need to pick at least 3. You can pick more than that if you want. So you're going to talk about the poetic devices, you're going to include examples, and you're also going to discuss how they create a theme, mood, story, or point in the poems that you're selecting. And you can select multiple poems to use multiple examples. The only restriction is it has to just be one poet, but you can use different poems from the poet. That's fine. So you might be asking, well, what are poetic devices? Hopefully you were paying attention in all of Unit 1 because you learned a lot about them. And this is just 2 screenshots. If you look right here, objectives and literary elements, this is from Lesson 1. There's a few listed. And also from Lesson 2, right here, there's a few listed. And you'll find more in the other lessons. So go back if you need a refresher on what the poetic devices are. And remember, you only need to write 3, but you're free to write about more if you like. When you're writing your paper, you're going to also need to do a works cited page. As an English 3 student, hopefully this isn't something new to you. These are 2 websites you may use to help you, but make sure you do include a works cited page for all of your sources. Part 2. It's really just a completion grade. It's a stylistic imitation. I'm not going to judge you based on how creative or artistic your poem is. I'm simply going to see if you follow the directions. So try to have fun with it. Don't stress about it too much. Whatever poetic devices you analyze, you need to include in your own stylistic imitation. And there's a couple options. You could write a poem, which would, make sense. You could write a prose poem, an essay, a short story, as long as you're including the poetic devices and following all of the requirements. You should use at least 10 examples of poetic devices. If you highlight them for me, that definitely makes it easier for me to grade, but it's not required. If you write poetry, you need to do at least 20 lines. And if you're writing prose, you need to have at least 200 words. Feel free to write more. This is just the minimum requirement. And then before you submit your work, make sure you're following the writing process. Part of that is pre-writing, and that outline's pretty much done for you. You just have to plug it in. Make sure you're drafting, you're editing, proofreading. When you submit your final draft, it should be on one file. And as the directions state, you should be either submitting a doc file or a PDF file. And just a friendly reminder, make sure you're including your journal work. It is required for every lesson, and it's worth 10% of your project grade. Thank you.